The U.S. state of South Dakota is on the verge of passing a bill that could lead to the criminalization of children being given gender-altering hormones. If the state Senate agrees, the new regulations would mean hefty fines for doctors who fail to comply. Here's how one of the lawmakers behind the bill explained why he thinks it's necessary.
The solution for children's identification with the opposite sex isn't to poison their bodies with megadoses of the wrong hormones, to chemically or surgically castrate and sterilize them, or to remove healthy breasts and reproductive organs. The solution is compassionate care, and that doesn't include catastrophically and irreversibly altering their bodies.
Now, similar bills have been proposed in other states as well, which would ban gender-altering surgery and hormone treatment being performed on minors. Well, punishment for doctors could range from $2,000 to 15 years behind bars. Now, these initiatives, though, have been met with opposition, of course, as well. According to some estimates, around 150,000 teenagers in the United States identify as transgender. We should get the graphics up there. Those opposing the bills say such regulations would adversely affect their quality of life. Now, still, lawmakers in multiple states are pushing ahead to enact the bills into law. We heard from both sides of the debate, with media commentator and host Gina Loudon and political activist Anthony Rogers-Wright.
We do know for a fact that gender identity dysphoria is a medical condition which has been accepted by the American Medical and American Psychiatric Associations. So these kinds of bills that are very specious and insouciant aren't really about protecting children as much as they are about not protecting transgender people.
Folks who have some sort of gender identity crisis do need counseling. There's no question about that, and we've known that for a long time. Counseling can have many of the same benefits as hormonal therapies and are much less life-changing. So again, we have to ask ourselves, are we really doing what is humane when we as adults are trying to perhaps impose what is our politically correct interpretation on teenagers who are going through something that is perhaps only temporary?
I think that this bill actually takes away that ability for parents and children and youth and minors to make decisions that best suit them. And at the same time, it can be putting them at more risk for mental health ailments as well as physical ailments later on in life.
Children or adults who transition their gender tend to have a 41% higher tendency to commit suicide. This is a very disturbing number. And so that's already in play. But then if they go ahead with the gender transition surgery, they tend to have a 19 times higher rate of suicide. If we go ahead and facilitate that, is it really compassionate if it's increasing your suicide rate?
This is unfortunately an attempt by conservative and right-wing pundits and their acolytes to further dehumanize transgender people and the LGBTQIA community as a whole. It's extremely unfortunate that a right-wing orthodoxy which preaches American values of freedom and liberty and justice for all don't seem to believe that. So I don't think that this has anything to do with protection. This has to do with oppression and suppression of people whose lifestyles that they don't agree with.